Hey guys, Steve from PC Budget Solutions here, and the KB Lake system is gone. Replaced by this system behind me. This system holds a lot of sentimental value to me. It's one of the very first systems that I built that I sold on the open market. Sold in 2013, just bought it back from the customer who, as a partial payment for the KB Lake system. But what we want to do is we want to take a look at it. And we want to see a mid-range computer from 2013 can it hold its own at 1080p in 2017. Well, I don't know the answer yet, but you guys will find out in one moment. So these are the specs. It's the Athlon 760K. That's a 3.8 gigahertz turbo to 4.2 gigahertz quad core. It's a 100-watt processor, 8 gigs of DDR3, 1600 megahertz RAM. The board was middle of the road then. It was like $70. The highest end boards were 100, the cheapest were 40. The video card was pretty good. Sapphire HD 7870 gigahertz edition. For its time, very good card. That took on most of the budget. Random SSD I had laying around. I just put that in today. He didn't have an SSD. I have a Western Digital Blue 1 terabyte hard drive. And don't grill me on the case and the power supply. We're talking almost 5 years ago. It was 4.5 years ago. And that was what was decent budget back then. So times have changed. But we're going to dive right into the benchmarks. And first up on the chopping block, let's go ahead and do Ghost Recon Wildlands. So Ghost Recon kind of didn't surprise me. It wasn't the best experience. Medium was in the mid-20s on the low end, upper 30s, lower 40s on the higher end, averaging just shy of 33. High was pretty bad, 20 to 30 FPS. Low was a fair bit better, lows in like the mid-30s, highs around 50. It looks okay, but I ran into GPU bottlenecks, not for power, but the VRAM. It was using 1.8 gigabytes of VRAM on the lowest setting. Anything higher than that ran out of VRAM. So, but let's take a look at a more promising benchmark. Let's look at Tomb Raider next. So Rise of the Tomb Raider fared a bit better on medium settings, average of 45 FPS. Now lows and highs were all over the place, as low as 5, as high as 100 across the board. But even on high settings, it fared a lot better than Ghost Recon Wildlands. Now, I know this title's from 2015, and I just bought it, so this is my first benchmark on it. But I would go to say that, honestly, overall, I'm kind of impressed with this system, given that where it was 4 years ago and where it's at today. But now let's take a look at For Honor, a very favorite benchmark of mine. The system redeemed itself one more time with For Honor, so I'm pretty happy to see that. On medium and high settings, great frame rate, above 50 FPS average. Even the lows were like in the upper or lower 40s, excuse me. So I was really happy to see this, but there wasn't a lot of frame variance. It was a very smooth gameplay across the board on my 60 Hz monitor. So I would say, especially if you're liking this game, I think this setup would do perfect for you for the time being. Really hate ending a video on a bad note, but Ashes of the Singularity and DirectX 11, because this card does not support DirectX 12, did not fare well at all. Even on the lowest settings, everything turned down 1080p, 21 FPS average. Now, the reason for this is the CPU. It bottlenecked really bad, and DirectX 11 does not have independent GPU and CPU tests. It kind of does it combined. So this is where we see that the FM2 chip rather, just isn't that strong despite it being 4 cores and almost 4 gigahertz. So kind of didn't surprise me. I think with a different video card, might have a little different results on DirectX 12, but it is what it is. It does take a lot of CPU power to run this game, and unfortunately, this system would not suit somebody for Ashes of the Singularity. So, conclusion time. This unit is going to retail for probably, I'm going to say around $400. The reason why is I gave him $350 credit, and I put SSD and Windows 10 on it, so that's worth something. As you guys can tell in the benchmarks, it can game at 1080p. Some games higher end, Ashes of the Singularity CPU really struggled. It's a very, very CPU bound game. And Ghost Recon medium low is probably where you're going to be at. But it can boot the game. So if you're trying to get a PC just to play, especially your older titles and your other esports game, League of Legends, Dota 2, Overwatch, stuff like that, is a perfect system on the cheap. So yes, mid-range hardware from 2013 can game at 1080p in most scenarios. So let me know if you guys liked it in the description below. is where you can find where we got some of the hardware and software for this particular video. And thank you guys very much. Like if you liked it. If you disliked it, that's cool. You can go ahead and dislike it. Leave a comment in the section below. I respond to almost every single one I can. But this is Steve from PC Budget Solutions. I will see you later on down the road.